to another of our videos. I am the worm. This is the Proton.
What's going on? Weirdo.
Today we're doing a product we brought from Vape Gear. It is the AGR Cartomizer Tank version 2.
Version 2. Are you going to show it, or we're just going to...
Oh yeah, because yours is in bits.
Mine's in bits. Mine is in bits at the minute.
That's the AGR.
AGR Carto Tank. Price £9.98 vapegear.co.uk, which is actually a very good price. Very good price for this.
It does come with, quickly while we're here, 2 tanks, so you can have it in large or small mode.
Well, standard bows and XL bows. You use unflanged bows in this, which is again thumbs up for that. I can't remember what I was actually going to say. I have no idea. Show it properly. Show it, like, have a proper show. Flip it around a little bit so you can see where it is. You've got a nipple on there, guys. It's a tank that has an easy fill. If you're used to certain carto tanks, like your Smock DCT, for example, that you have to sort of pop it up and then fill it and then pop it back in and stuff. You don't have to do that with this, which is obviously a massive bonus. It is stainless, top and bottom. Okay, obviously your bow slides in the middle, fill it with juice, so on and so forth. We are actually going to show you all the bits that come with this up close and personal. Show you what you need to do in order to make it work.
Plus filling the carto.
Well, we're going to show, for the first time, I'm going to show you filling the carto, just because it's about time we did, I think. I know most people know how to do that, but we're going to show it anyway, just the whole process of setting this little tank up. I thought, should we do it now? We'll do our chin wagger on the other side of it, because we can chin wagger.
So. What size are you going to go with?
I'm going to put 35mm bow in this.
So a smaller tank.
Smaller tank on this one, but we'll show you exactly what you get when you buy it, exactly how you use it, and then come back up and do some chin wagging.
Chin waggery.
Chin waggery. Right, guys, this is what you will get if you buy the AGR. Okay, basically what you've got there is 2 tank sections. Okay, you've got the 45mm, 35mm there. We're going to use a 35mm bow carto, so we're going to chuck this one to the side. We're not going to need it. And then you've got your top cap, your bottom cap, and your extension, which we'll go through in a second. I do want to point out that this top cap is not the nipple that you get. The nipple you get is that one that Worms just brought into shot there, which you can just twist off with your fingers with. Mine's a screw because I went out drinking and lost it, basically. But I told you the AGR screw would come in handy eventually, and it has. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to show you how to punch and then prime and then assemble this tank. So for this bit we're going to get rid of them 4 pieces because we're not going to need that. Actually, I might use this. Basically with this tank, what you do is you slot your bow carto into the bottom piece that then screws onto the tank, and then that screws onto the bottom like so. So it is really not going anywhere. So what I tend to do when I'm measuring up these bows for a rough kind of gauge is basically stick your bottom on, get your carto punch in place. I tighten it just so it holds slightly, remove the bottom, and then give it a little sliver down just so I know roughly where to go. This isn't pretty exact science, to be honest with you. In terms of turns, I kind of basically 1, 2 full turn and then a half, and that should be sufficient, I think, to give me a punched hole. I might do another half of one on that one actually, so maybe 3 full turns, guys. So that's there, and another half there. Okay.
How many holes you do on this one? 1 or 2?
I'm going to do 2 holes on this one. And then basically with this carto punch, you've got a, I don't know if you can see that. You've got a little viewing window there. So basically what you do is slot your carto in once you punch 1 hole, and you then line it up. I don't know if you can be able to see that. Line up the hole you've already punched with that hole, and then the one that you're about to punch will be on the complete opposite. So it should be all nice and square for you. I'm having some issues seeing here. No, but I'm not. There we go. Okay, and basically the same on this. That's just starting to give tension, so I'm going to give it 1, 2. Just heard the pop. It does a little pop. Now I'm going to go all the way around again. 3, why not? Okay, obviously depending on what juice you're using, it may depend on how thick you want these holes to be. We've been using sort of 70-30 mixes PG, and that's kind of what I've ended up with. If I was doing VG, I may go a little bit more. In fact, I may have gone slightly more than I wanted to, but we shall see. That's a carto punched. To prime it, what juice am I going to use?
I don't know, what juice are you going to use?
I think I'll use this. Why not? I'm going to use this some of juice from E-Smokeless. Nice nipple top. comes in handy for this, and you can see you've got a polyfill down there, and basically all you need to do is just then drip drops around the carto whilst you turn it. I can't actually see this, guys, so I'm showing it to the camera. These bogues are very good at absorbing this liquid pretty quickly. For this kind of carto, 35mm carto, it's a guesstimate, but I'd say about 25 drops, especially since it's going to a tank. If it's not quite enough, the holes in the tank and the holes in the carto will then sort of sort out the rest. I know you can use the silicone bungs that come with the carto, fill one up, and then kind of use it as a plunger to force the liquid through, which I have done. But not everyone's going to want to do that, so I'm showing you the sort of normal way of doing it.
The long way round.
The long way round, the way around the houses, but it's not particularly difficult. It's just if you haven't done it before, you're not going to know what to do.
It's just more time than anything, guys. You're just waiting around.
Pretty much. It is a couple of minute job, and then it recommends you leave it for a little while as well. So obviously, the longer you can leave your carto to absorb that liquid, the better. Rule of thumb: once you've punched it, because I punch it first, basically, if I see a little bit of liquid around these holes that I've punched, I stop. If not, I just keep going until I reckon we're about there, which I'll say is about 25 to 30 drops. Excuse the fact that I'm probably not using drops; I'm just sort of ringing it around, but kind of done this a few times, so know roughly what I'm looking for. But you don't basically want liquid sitting on top of your carto. Is definitely what you do not want. And I think maybe one more way around that way, one more that way, and that will be done. Once you've done it a few times, you will kind of get used to how much liquid and how much juice your cartos are going to take. All right, there's still a little bit sitting on the surface there. That will sort of filter down fairly quickly. I'd imagine it just takes a little while to sort of get it on. The first fill it does. After that, it will absorb pretty quick if you're using these just as cartos. If you're using these in the tank, it's going to be quite irrelevant to you, to be honest with you.
When you're waiting for this to drip down, guys, just stand it upright so it gives it basic gravity. It's going to help it go a little bit quicker.
There you go. It's getting in now. You see it. Basically, the liquid off the surface is gone. It's still quite moist at the top there, but it isn't come to the holes yet. So by the time that absorbs, it will. Now, putting the tank back together, there are your 4 parts for the tank. Let me just get rid of this bottle top. Basically, what you do is you see me do it with the measuring the carto there. Okay, so I put that in there like that. I may have made that hole a little bit low, but we'll see. That's one hole, which is basically where you want it. That one's probably just on the verge of where you don't want it, but it should be absolutely fine. Then what you do is, or what I do, what I tend to do actually is this. I put my top on the tank, which is that side. These tanks are sort of up and down. You can use both ways, but I find that one way is slightly easier than the other. Okay, so basically stick that through. Try and take it easy on your O-rings as you put the bottom on, and then screw that in.
If you are worried about your O-rings, guys, you can just run a little bit of juice around the outside of the bogue, just so it gives a little bit of lubrication to go through that O-ring you got inside of that top cap.
Either I use a narrow drip tip, something a bit narrower than that, it's flared, and it'll find its way through it. Then basically what you've got there is a bogue that will push up and down like a DCT tank. That's similar, but obviously with a DCT it tends to have a flange, so it won't go up, but it will still come down, or the tank will go up. With this, it's basically like that becomes your 510, and your bogue screws directly into this. When this has got your air channels grooved out, which is a very nice bit of craftsmanship on that. You then basically screw that into there like so. Okay, put the bogue down, and that is now tight. That's not going anywhere. You can't pull that off. You could hang things from that. It's not going anywhere. In terms of filling this thing up, now there's 2 ways of doing it. Alright, basically, again, you'd be able to do this by finger. I can use a little screwdriver. Now, what it's designed to do is that. Okay, that works just fine. You can put it in there, pour your liquid in, absolutely no problems with that. The only problem is that some people do this. Okay, block off the air hole. Okay, and then basically what you do is force liquid through the bogue. The way that I found I was using this when I had the nipple top on it, and even still, is I tend to take this off. I know this seems like a bit of inconvenience.
Take that screw out, guys.
Take the screw out, but I tend to take that off, and then what I do is just go as happy as I like, get the liquid in the tank, fill it up to the top like that. Now that this screws out, any excess air that comes out as you're screwing this top back on will come out of this hole. If you leave that nipple in or the screw in, if you've, like me, and you've lost it, it will just force liquid through that carto, and obviously you can have some serious flooding issues. But that now is a primed, punched carto inside a tank where it's not going to move anywhere. All I need to do is put my little screw back in.
Obviously this will be easier for you guys because you'll have one you can do with your fingers
unless you're like me and you lose it. I don't even know where I lost it, to be honest with you. I think it must be when I was drinking, as I can remember losing it. And then basically that there is your tank full, primed and everything. Just simply drip in there. It's as simple as that. It's not overly complicated. It's really not. It's not hard to maintain either. These bows we found, well, I found about 5 days of consistent, everyday, non-stop use, pretty much. So if you're using it sort of now and again, then bows will last you ages in there. So yeah, that's how it's done, guys. We'll come back to us and have a wee vape and have a little chat about it in particulars.
Well, back up, guys. Obviously, that was the AGR full priming the Carto, putting it together, punching your holes, everything there you need to know.
Basically, a few things we should point out, guys. One, punching them holes, there is a wee bit of a learning curve. Alright, I mean, the first one I did leaked excessively, the holes were too big. Worms had the same problem. We both had ones where the holes have been too small, and you have to dry put it slightly, which you can do to bring that liquid in. It's not a major deal. About that is what you want, about 3 turns of that punch, and wait until you get the resistance, and then 3 turns from there, roughly. This is totally dependent on juice, totally dependent on how you like your setup. But this is just a rule of thumb, guys. Right, that's all we're trying to do is give you a rule of thumb. Should we go over the nitty gritty of this, ins and outs, and blah 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 blah? Basically, we've said to you before, price $9.98. All right, it can be used with 35 and 45mm bows, and they are available in low resistance, which is 2 ohm, and the standard resistance, which is 3 ohm. Personally, I haven't found loads of difference between the two. I think I'm kind of veering towards I prefer the standard resistance 3 ohm ones.
Because generally use low resistance.
I am generally low resistance, but the main reason being is I find basically no performance difference whatsoever, but your batteries last longer when you're 3 ohm. With me, usually I run things as hard as possible. I'll usually run them as high and hot as I can. With these bows, 3 ohm bow on a 4 volt, 4.2, maybe 4.4 at best, and I'm more than happy. In terms of performance, it's kind of irrelevant because it's the tank. The performance, the vape and the throat hit and that kind of stuff is coming from bows. It's going to be good. We got the entire setup. We both bought exactly the same setup. We got the tank, a pack of bows, a pack of each bow. So we both bought low resistance, but we got one of the 45, one of the 35 each, and then Kirsty keep a nice enough to send down a pack of the standard resistance ones as well. We also bought the Carto punch. So 10 Cartos, a tank, and the punch. I think it comes to about 24 quid. Yeah. We were looking for something that's sort of a replacement in terms of ease of use, like a Nova, but the perform better. Once you've been using drippers and stuff, a Nova just doesn't cut it when you're out and about. This was what we was looking at in order to fill that gap.
Basically, we was using some bows that I previously bought, some black ones. Sorry, guys. And they were just outperforming the Novas, even if they were just like lasting us 20 minutes. But that was 20 minutes of good vaping over the Novas. So we thought, well, he's got your DCT, haven't you? And it's a little bit
shit.
Yeah.
The DCT, I mean, it's not shit, but it's got a lot of problems. I mean, it's got a flange on the Cartos, and the Cartos you buy at $2.50 each, all right? And the body of the DCT's got a completely round cutout for the flange, which has got lines on the side. If the cutout of the body had them lines so that it wouldn't move, or you could tighten it, wouldn't be an issue. But untightening the DCT from the tank would be a pain in the bum. You have to pop the top off, and I would like to point out, I got a Carto with the DCT, yes, but it cost me about £2.50 more than this. And it's just not worth that compared to this. You get 2 tanks with this, you can use your bows. It's a very, very good tank. In terms of what it does it very well.
The main reason we bought this one is because it does lock off that bow Carto in there. It is not moving. Once you've got that bottom section on, that bow's going nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. There's no chance of it leaking or whatever. Well, unless you lose your top, like as the Proton did, and it leaks kind of in the case. It wasn't like massive amounts. There was still quite a lot in the tank left, wasn't there? But it was still dribbling out.
I had about 2 mil when it did find its way out eventually, and in my case now smells like blueberries.
But that was over 3 days, so
I can't believe I didn't even notice it was missing. So just keep an eye on that, guys. Make sure you're doing it. Quick note on the nipple. We did find it, or I do find it. I can't speak for them, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be the same. You haven't always got a needle bottle on you, and even when you have, personally, I find it easier just to remove that issue altogether. Take the top off, unscrew the nipple, fill it, put it back on.
It's how we both fill them.
It's how we fill them. All right. I mean, I know it's not designed to do that. It's meant to be a needle fill, but unless you're indoors, really, you haven't got a needle bottle on you. I mean, you might have. I do carry a needle now and again, but not usually.
All the time.
And you have to pay more attention. So if you can just take the top off, put it in, screw it back up, It's a job done, and I've never had it flood that way. Never had it flood, and mine's the same.
Not through that issue anyway. We've
No.
had it flood through punching
Over
two big holes.
punching, yeah, over punching. But I mean, for me, I've only ever had one go wrong, two go wrong with me, Ducatos. You've had a couple as well, haven't you?
Two.
But once you've kind of done it and got it down, you kind of just know that's what's meant to be like. So I punched one of them holes slightly lower than I would like to, but it's not caused any issue any lower, and it may have. So just be aware of that. But you see how long it took, guys. I think it took about 5-10 minutes for me to do all that, and that was introducing it all, punching it, priming it, getting it in the tank, and vaping, which is well, seeing as you've got to do it once a week, probably it's not an inconvenience at all.
To be honest, it'll take just as long to wash out your Nova and put your new head in, or re-wick it if you're re-wicking it. Put it all together. It's the same sort of amount of time. I mean, you should really leave these cartos for probably about 20 minutes just to be safe. But you can, like Mr. Proton's demonstrating, just use it straight away. I mean, it's depends how you feel, how well you feel you primed that bogue in the first place.
The bogues do take it quick, and they do perform quick though. But the longer you can leave it, the better. In a tank, it's not as much of an issue, and to be honest, in a tank, flooding's not quite as much of an issue either. You just blow it through before you put it in, it'll be fine. Unless some holes are too big, obviously. Should we do a 5-point hit list on this? I mean, we're not going to do flavour and vapour because that's down to the bogue, and they're just 9s, 8s and 9s. All right, they are very good for a carto. Not compared to a dripper, but for a carto, they're very good. They're the best, as far as we're concerned.
Looks, bear in mind, it does come like that with no drip tip, so you have got to supply your own tip. But I've got my Pavari tip in there at the moment. It looks wicked. I mean, get my UD1 if I can find it. Proper stainless steel one in there. Like that. Still looks wicked. I mean, obviously drip tip's going to change it to your preference anyway, but it's bloody good looking device. It really is. I mean, I don't particularly like how big that screw nut is, but it is.
It's smaller than you think it's going to be.
It's nicer than what you think than from the pictures. It really is. I mean, it is. I haven't really noticed it, to be honest. But it's alright. It looks. It's a 9.
There you go. For me, I mean, I've got me little drip tip in there. I love how this looks. I mean, the bottom of it there does look a wee bit elongated because it is quite a big section compared to the top. But in general, it's very good looking. It is very good looking. You can see your juice and all the kind of other stuff that you're going to need to do, and you can just top up the same juice. So for me, I'm going to give it like an 8.5 or 9. I think it's quite good looking compared to a lot of other DCT tanks. I mean, if we take the DCT for example, and there are a lot of other ones that take bogues, this would be where this is where I put my money, but this would be my preference anyway, even if it wasn't what I wanted to buy. Usability.
Well, if we're just talking about the tank without the carto, it's really simple, really, isn't it? You just put it together, put the carto in, screw it on. That's it. You're ready to rock and roll. Fill up your juice. It's a 10.
Usability for me, I mean, you've just seen how it's done. If you're punching bogues, this is how it is. Usability for me is a 10 because you can fill it the way you can fill it and everything else. But I do want to say, bogues on their own aren't that usable. A bogue would be about 7 or an 8 because you've got to constantly drip into it. This has all the advantages of a bogue, the usability of a bogue, and it's a lot more simple because you do it once and that's it. You prime it once, you punch it once, and that's your lot. So it's easier to use than a standard bogies if you're just using them native. I'm going to give this thing like a 10, even with the bogue, any carto tank, unless you're buying pre-drilled ones. It's as easy as it gets, from my point of view anyway.
Maintenance. Well, the only thing really you got to maintain is the bogue carto, so there is really no maintenance except for washing it out when you're changing flavour, if you are changing flavour or putting a new carto in there. So again, it's a 10.
Maintenance for me, yeah, you just wash it out, chuck a new carto in there. Whilst we're talking about cartos, we should point out that you can boil these and all everything else. But vape gear, they're £5, I think, and £5.50 for your 35mm and 45mm ones. They're for 5 days. They're basically £1 each or £1 and 10p each.
Yeah.
I find they'll last me about 5 days, but that is me consistently using it morning, noon, and night. 2 cards I've done that with, both have lasted around the 5-day mark before they started to get slightly clogged. They were still usable, but it's the same as a dripper. I want it to be perfect. So I could have pushed them to a week for me, which for most people is probably about a week and a half, 2 weeks. So very, very cheap indeed, and the performance of them is well worth it. Compared to a Nova, this is an 8 to a Nova's 5 if we're putting them in the same category, which they're not. This is much better. So yeah, definitely.
Also, we're not doing flavour and favourite, guys, so we're just going to go straight on to.
I think we should add maybe
build quality.
Build quality and also price.
Oh, okay. Build quality. It is nice. Obviously, like all your stainless steel bits are amazing. I mean, plastic. I mean, we don't. Is it
polycarbonate?
It's polycarbonate, is it? So yeah, it's
that's its only downside.
That is
in build quality.
That's it. I mean, that's the only thing I've got a problem with it, and it's not even that much of a problem really. So, because let's be honest, you get 2 tanks with it. So if you do bust one, you still got your second one to back you up before you got to buy new ones.
That is a big advantage. You can do prices on the same hit, or
price is it's excellent price for what it is. Like you said, a DCT costs more.
Cost me 12 quid, and it's nowhere near as good as this, and that's polycarbonate as well. I mean, it's strengthened polycarbonate, but it's still polycarbonate nonetheless, and your tank flies off and whatever else.
10.
Build quality for me, the only improvement I would like to see, the only improvement I'd like to see a Pyrex tank. If they had Pyrexes, 35 and 45mm Pyrexes, or even polypropylene tanks, and
I think more likely it's going to be polypropylene.
Either way, if they, I'd happily pay
just because it's screwed.
I'd pay 3, 4, 5 quid more for Pyrex tanks, maybe even a bit more. I'd probably pay 20 quid if I had 2 Pyrex tanks with this, just because the quality is a wee bit better. But I'd imagine you're going to sacrifice tank capacity on that, and polycarbonate or polypropylene as well. Pay a couple of quid more for that. That's pretty much its only downside. Beware of your certain juices in
but you do get 2 with it, so
you do get 2 with it, and I think that is really good. Any other equivalent, even ones that take unflanged bows, aren't as usable, aren't as nice, because I saw this and really liked it. You saw another one and really liked that, didn't you? And we watched reviews, and this just outsung it. So kind of, I bought one, Worm bought one, and despite like Worms that will nibble with a nipple and the fact that mine's a screw, they are bloody good tanks. So for build quality and price, it's getting a straight 10, because you get what you pay for, and I believe in this circumstance you get a lot more than what you're paying for. It's the same. It's less than a Nova STV. So it's really good stuff. And actually, the bows will cost you less than an 8 head wheel, won't they?
Yes.
About half the price. Wicked stuff for better performance.
Overall, we've been through everything. It's a 10. It's a flat out 10. It is a 10.
For me, I'm going to give it a 9.5. The only reason is polycarbonate. That is literally the only thing I can.
I'm giving it 10 because you get 2.
There you go. I mean, there you go. You have got to take into account. But I mean, that's the only thing I would like to change about this tank. There's nothing else that I would like to change. It takes bows, and bows are brilliant. You can't put it off. It holds well. This has been in my case with all my other stuff for 3 or 4 weeks now. Well, for about 3 weeks now. About 3 weeks. And it's been knocking around, been used and abused, and it has held up to everything I've thrown at it, and it's still going just as strong as the day I got it. It's wicked. It really is wicked. If you're after a carto tank, get it. If you're using jennies and drippers indoors and you want something that's going to perform out and about, this is much better than your DCT tanks and all that kind of stuff. It just is. It's much better because you're using bows and they're good. It's really good. Service from Vape Gear, as always, was good. And if you want the kind of setup that we went for, £24.50, I think, there or thereabouts, give or take a few pence, and free delivery to your door. And for that, we've got the tank, 10 cartos, and a punch. We're good for 2 months before we need anything, and even then, it's only a couple of cartos.
So it costs us like 5-6 quid, depending on what size we want to go.
We'll probably just buy 2 boxes each at a time, get free delivery, and it costs us a score every 3 months. You really can't argue with that. If you're looking for a tank, this is the way. It was easy. I know one's getting ready to finish this video, but I'm going to quick one. I know. I can't help myself. I know that we say about dripping out and about and all that kind of stuff, and we do drip out and about. It's pretty much all we do. I drip at work, so does Worm. And it is easy to drip at work, we find.
It's not a hindrance at all.
It's not a hindrance at all. But, and it is a but, when I got this, using this at work, I did kind of forget how easy it was to have a tank. It's not that dripping is an inconvenience to me, it's not. But it is easy to just put it out and chuff. If you're drinking, don't drip and drink. Honestly, I've tried it. It doesn't go well. You end up with liquid everywhere. So I definitely think it's worth buying. All right, we both bought them, and we haven't been sorry about it at all.
No, it's a bloody beautiful little device.
And with these free-owned boats as well, the battery life is amazing. I mean, what did I say to you the other day? I was using it at work all night, all day the day before, and all night, and all day again at work, and my battery's like half-life. And you guys know how much I vape, so battery life is amazing when you're using these free ohms on about 4.2, and they really don't need anything more than that. So
they really don't.
It's wicked stuff, and we're definitely giving this a massive thumbs up. If you want one, get one. They're brilliant. Vape Gear's obviously wicked service as
and also they've got everything there that you need. You've got the punch, you've got your tank, you've even got your cartos, both sizes.
There you go.
All delivered for free.
What,
if you get all in one hit.
What you ask for? They're bloody good at Vape Gear, I'm telling you. Lovely people. Go on and check them out. We'll link it down there for you anyway. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I just thank you very much, guys. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I've been Mr. Proton. This has been The Worm.
The Worm.
We will catch you soon.